Here's what we have out of the Pentagon now. The Defense Department is considering proposing sending conventional ground combat forces into northern Syria for the very first time, with the aim of speeding up the fight against ISIS. I have Barbara Starr standing by, our Pentagon correspondent, as well as Gail Simak-Lamon, a senior fellow at the Council on Foreign Relations and contributing editor with Defense One, a publication focusing on U.S. national security. Barbara Starr, though, first to you. This is huge, huge, huge news. Where is this coming from?
Well, Brooke, hi there. What we now know and have learned here this afternoon is the Pentagon is looking at this idea because, as you will recall, President Trump has given the military until the end of the month to come back with some ideas how to speed up the fight against ISIS. This is one of many ideas. It is not fully baked yet. We want to emphasize that. They have not yet proposed it to the president by all accounts, but it is significant that they are talking about it. What they're talking about is the notion of sending, for the first time, conventional ground forces into northern Syria. This is something the Obama administration had always rejected. It's a very high-risk idea. If you're going to put U.S. ground troops into Syria, you have to be able to protect them on the ground and from the air. It is a very risky idea. But would the Trump administration be willing to take that risk on? That may wind up being the key question now. President Trump has wanted to speed up the fight against ISIS, but almost any direction you turn in with a new military option, you are looking at increased risk to U.S. troops. So where are we right now? The Pentagon looking at it, looking at several additional ideas, but this may be the most controversial one. If President Trump goes for it, it will fundamentally alter the risk. It will fundamentally alter how the U.S. is prosecuting the war against ISIS. Brooke?
Barbara, just quickly following up with you, and again, I know that this is, to quote you, not fully baked. How many troops potentially, or how soon?
Well, you know, it could we are being led to understand that actually it could happen relatively soon after this sort of deadline at the end of the month, when the military and the Pentagon are supposed to go back to the White House with their ideas. What could happen, we are led to understand, which may give us an indication of how far along this is you you could send some troops, for example, into Kuwait. You could send them with some additional ground weapons, that kind of thing, and then they could move from Kuwait into Syria at any point in which the proposal would be finally approved by President Trump. So what the military's looking at right now is, do they want to proceed with this? Are they comfortable with the level of risk? What they might precisely recommend to the president, and how they could be ready to move fairly quickly if a decision were to come. But there's other pieces that would have to be put into place. You know, are you going to start cooperating more, for example, with the Russian military in Syria, again, both on the ground and in the air? That is another huge if. That would be a very fundamental shift for the U.S. Brooke?
Okay, Barbara, I'm listening to you. I've also got a military voice on the other end of this, but let me just put a button on this Andrew Puzder story. He is officially withdrawn. Andrew Puzder officially withdrawing. He was President Trump's pick to be the labor secretary. His whole confirmation hearing was set for tomorrow. So there you have it, officially withdrawn. Back now to the other breaking story, though, with the Defense Department considering sending conventional ground combat troops into Syria to fight ISIS. Barbara Starr just perfectly laid it out for us, as this could be one of the options. She points out this hasn't been taken to the president yet. I have Gail, stay with me. I want to go first to CNN military analyst Lieutenant Colonel Rick Francona. What do you make of this possibility?
Oh, this is a big step. This would be a major shift in our policy, and it really gets into a political nightmare. If you look at what's going on in Syria right now, you've got a conglomeration of the Syrians. That means the Syrians are supported by the Russians, the Iranians, and Hezbollah operating. You've got the Free Syrian Army backed by the Turks, and you've got this American-backed organization called the Syrian Democratic Forces. If we're going to go in there and work with them, that's going to put us at political odds with both the Russians and the Turks. So this is going to be not only a military problem, but it's going to be a huge political mountain that we're going to have to climb. We have tried to take a hands-off approach with the Turks so far, but this will put us in direct confrontation because we're going to want to put American troops there to take Raqqa. And that's the big key there. Who takes Raqqa? The Turks want to do it, the Syrians want to do it, and we would rather have our forces do it.